and you'd be just perfect for it, and I'm eating the studio time, you know, can you go get something for breakfast and meet me over there? And I did that, and it was supposed to be a 6-hour session, and it took 45 minutes, and so he hired me the next week, and the next week, and then Bob Barron hired me the week after that, and from there on it was, that's a long answer, but that's mine. I'm sticking to it.
It's a thorough answer, we'll take it.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Allie. I was the voice of the Phantom Ranger, and it was just by chance. I did a guest spot on Masked Rider, if you guys seen that show. I did a character named Yorkie, and I did my own ADR for the first time. I was young, it was one of my first acting gigs. And I got a call maybe 3 weeks later saying, hey, would you like to come in and audition for this ranger that nobody knows who he is, and he's never really, or not until the end, he might not take his mask off. And I said, I've never done voices before. This is it. They said, we've auditioned dozens of people. Mr. Saban, I'm Saban, doesn't like anybody. Can you just come in and give it a try in your own voice? So I came in, I did it, and then for a couple of years, 2-3 years there, I'd go from Turbo in space and all those fun things. It just, like you said, you show up at midnight, you can go whenever you wanted to. It was really cool, really fun. So that's it. I've done a lot of acting, but that's the only voice thing I've done. So I'm kind of like a one and done, kind of one hit wonder.
Never done.
Never done.
Never done.
Acting, I got it, but not voice.
Never.
Not yet.
This is easier.
Hi, my name's Brianne Rosie. I'm the voice of Circuit on Power Rangers. What? Text Kerrigan. I'm the voice of Circuit on Power Ranger Time Force. And oddly enough, I have this little guy with me. His name's Dr. Arrow Heisenberg. He has a Twitter account. He doesn't Facebook because he can't read or write yet. But he tweets, and he really does. He has a Twitter account.
What? And his Twitter handle is Dr. Arrow Heisenberg?
It's actually Dr. Heisenberg.
Oh, Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So follow and like him. It's DrHeisenBird.
And I'm following that right.
Whee! Yeah, he's cool. So I actually got into voice acting. I started doing voices since I was little, since I could go. And I had parrots all my life and birds, and I moved around a lot. And these guys are my friends. And people just heard me doing voices. I think it was probably I got into acting actually when I was 13, but voiceover. A friend of mine, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, knew I did all these crazy voices. And he's like, come on over, you should audition. So I did, and I won 4 of the parts for a Hanna-Barbera thing. And then then I worked as assistant sound editor at a place called Go Million Sound. We used to make fun of it and say, go make a million sound.
Mr. Forrest.
Oh my Lord.
What?
Motel Hell.
Probably. I worked on tons of stuff. But I did assistant sound editing there, and a friend of mine there, they were doing some of the Wallace stuff, looping and ADR, and they said, go downstairs. I didn't get paid, which blew, but whatever. Got to meet this gal here, actually, and several other people, and they remembered my name, and a couple months later, gave me a call, I auditioned, and boom, Power Rangers, go! Thank you.
And you're sticking to it.
Yeah, well, there's more, but
There's always more. Well, I went to acting school to be an actress and couldn't make a living doing stuff in New York, came to LA. I did some nightclubs in New York and found out, I did a play called Company. I sang a little bit and played the crazy bride, and the bass player in the company said, I have a friend who does these Japanese cartoons into English, and you do this funny patter song. You're good with stuff like fast-paced talking, New Yorker, So why don't you audition for her? And I had written a tape, but I never had enough money to make a tape. I kind of wrote something to audition. So I rattled it off to her, and she gave me work doing Japanese cartoons into English. It wasn't called anime back then. It was just Japanese cartoons.
Not even beeps on
no
time
beeps.
time code.
No
Time code cutting.
No, that's right.
No picture at the time.
We had no
Yeah.
names.
But this was
we just
even
made it
before
up.
picture. This was Jim
Wow.
Terry.
You had to be good
Jim
at
Terry.
it. At dubbing.
I did
Yeah,
something
no
with
good.
Jay Leno, with Hideous Sun Demon, and crazy stuff. And then we did the Broken Doll, which was the soap operas, which were Mexican soap operas into English for people that were Spanish to learn English because they knew the soap operas, so they wanted to see their soap operas, but they had an English dub in there. And then we did cartoons at Intercept. And then I met all yous guys.
I'm Michael Forrest. I played the voice, or did play the voice of Olympus 12, 14 years ago or so. I kind of got into the business of dubbing when, seriously, when I went to Europe. I lived in Rome for 10 years, during which time I really learned how the technique of dubbing was all about. I dubbed in probably over 500 films while I was there, and played major parts, small parts, character parts, one thing and another. But it's where I really learned how to do it. That does not mean to say I'm great at it, but I'm not bad at it.
You're okay.
Yeah, thank you. And you're a wonderful gal, thanks very much. And anyway, so that's my story. I'm stuck with it, and I will pass this mic.
Mike, pass them up.
Oh, take that.
There we go.
Okay, so my name is Christopher Cho. I did the voice of Dark Specter. And I don't actually do voiceover work regularly, although I've auditioned for some really big projects. I didn't know what they were at the time, and then they came out later. I was like, oh man, I submitted tape for that one. Came close to Mahan, submitted stuff for Kung Fu Panda, but didn't book anything. But I actually got into Dark Specter by doing Beetleborgs. And when we did the looping for Nukus, Scott was like, oh, you're like really good at this. You should come over and try out for some stuff from our end. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was lucky enough to get Dark Specter. And then I haven't done very much voiceover. I don't think I've done any voiceover work since, to be quite honest. I just still do work in front of the camera. I'm just doing the acting gig. But that's pretty much all. That's all I have to say on this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kerrigan Mahan.
It's an entrance!
How did you get started in voiceover?
Fashionably late. It's fine.
That's a question. I'm so sorry.
You're gonna
I'm
have
so
to sit
sorry.
somebody's lap.
I'll get you a chair. Oh my God! Is that you? Hey, tell them. Oh, are you sure? Yeah, I gotta get another one. Tell them how you got started. That's
Wow.
Yeah, we're just down the
And make
line.
it short.
Yeah, right. Hi, bye.
I gotta put up with this.
Yeah.
23 years later, I'm
How
still
many?
putting up with this.
10,023 years.
Yeah. Is that the question?
How we got started?
Yeah, that is the question.
Doing, I was on camera, and it was kind of a fluke. My girlfriend at the time was working at a little pasta place on Sunset Plaza, there in Beverly Hills, right? And about 12 midnight, this guy comes waltzing in. It was kind of a takeout pasta, fancy, elitist. Hey, what the hell is that?
I was wondering. I wouldn't have bet.
Bird, it's Breeze Bird.
Hey, little buddy. I know how much pressure you got on that beat. I grew up with one of those. Okay. Anyway, that kind of stole the thunder. W.C. Field said, no kids, no helmets. And so, some guy walks in and says, oh, you have a great voice, to her. And she was a blues singer, and she did have a great voice. And she comes home and says, hey, they're recording this show down the street from the restaurant, and this guy wants me to come in and do some recording. I said, oh, Wanda, get a life. He's hitting on you. It's 12 midnight. Nobody's recording anything at 12 midnight. Well, as it turns out, yes, they were, and they were recording Robotech on Sunset Plaza. And so we went in, and that gentleman that was, quote, hitting on her, and actually he probably was, he was Greg Snagoff, who you may or may not know, but he played Chiron, Lord Chiron in Robotech, and a couple other really wonderful characters. And he was a tremendous dubber. And Wanda and I went over and met him the next day and saw them dubbing, and I looked at this and said, I'll never be able to do this. This is insane, trying to read the script and act and follow the lips on the screen, and the screen was about, this big, and we didn't have what are called beeps at the time. We had a red light, and anyway, you guys don't want to talk about it, doesn't matter. Anyway, I got really good at it really fast, and bye-bye on camera for the most part, and I was off and running as a voiceover actor, and that was my beginning in about 1985, and I never looked back. So there you.
That's a short.
Thanks for coming, you guys. Yeah, that's the short answer.
So you guys have all done a little bit of stage acting, screen acting, and voice acting. How do you get yourself, and this is a question for anybody in the panel that wants to answer it, how do you get yourself into the headspace of being a character when you don't have other actors or a set, or it's just you alone in the room with a recording device?
It's so much better.
First of all, for just dubbing stuff, it really kind of depends on what your pecking order is in the schedule. If you're the first person to dub, it's really hard because you're kind of making it up as you go. But like if you get in there and Barbara's already done her stuff and Kerry's already done his stuff, now you're working off of their lines and it completely changes what you do. So other than that, you just kind of look at the character and you try to make a guess for what you're doing, and whoever's directing it or wrote it gives you as tiny bit of background as you can, and you just try and roll with it. And but it's always better if somebody else dubs before you. Would you guys agree with that?
He wouldn't.
I don't know. You know what? It's great. He's right. He's right. I mean, everybody works differently. Personally, I didn't care. If it was dry and I saw the script, I saw what the line was before and the line was after. And as Eddie aptly pointed out, we got some background, or if we're walking in for the first time in this show, it's like, okay, who am I, what am I, what's going on? The directors and writers have a tendency to, it's like, we got it. Can we, 20 minutes later, I don't want to hear anymore. Please, let's just record. So, I will say if it was already, if the tracks were already down for the other character that you're playing opposite, yeah, it's nicer to hear them in your headphones and you're reacting directly to Barbara's finished and I got it right here. So that's more comfortable, it's more organic, but it's not the end of the world because I know exactly how she's going to say the line for me.
You don't know how.
Exactly.
No!
Oh yeah. Exactly. I can go again. I can imitate it.
Kerrigan, I don't need to listen to
There you go.
Do we have a punishment parrot now? Is that how this is working?
No, he's a bad boy. If he's mean, he's gonna bite his ear.
Are we a family? Did you notice this as a family, as a dysfunctional family?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have to say, I never really had a method. I don't know why. I just kind of went and did it. Sort of hyper by nature, and I kind of so,
And you have that boy's voice,
Well, yeah, but then there's the other characters and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I gotta say, it really goes with, if you got great writing, it's great. If you don't, and then I hope you know how to improv and it'd be crazy.
Don't you agree?
What? I have to tell a funny story. One time I brought a parrot. Not him. I had Jetta bird before me, an African gray. Someone wanted to meet him, and I said, you don't want him at a session. I don't bring him to sessions, but you don't want him at a session.
Oh, shit.
What? No,
This
he
is
didn't.
worrying me.
He did not.
No, I'm just, go ahead.
We used to said the yes.
No, I didn't.
We don't cuss around with them.
Yeah, great.
Which is good for me because I see bad things. Anyway, so they wanted to meet him. So I bring him in the back. It was Ruth Edelman. It ain't you. He
No,
did you?
no, I'm just saying I am. I'm trying to, okay, go ahead.
He's not gonna like this.
Listen, Kerry, he doesn't know.
Really? So anyway, now you can see why it was 20 minutes just to get a word.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so I bring him in the back, and he sits with the engineer and the director, and he's sitting on the back of a chair. I go and do my thing, and it was when they did beeps, beep, 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 and on the fourth beep, you done. So I did the line, like, okay, let's do it a second time, just give something else. I think it looks scary.
I'm listening. No, I'm good. I'm good.
I don't have any insurance into my ear, just saying. So we go again, and I'm like, why did you guys stop? I was right in the middle of it. And they said, so they just, no, just do it again. So I do it, I just get ready to go, and they stop again. I'm like, what is going on? They said, hold on, there's something wrong in the engineer room. So I'm like, okay, so I take 5 minutes, I go in there and I sit, and I'm like, so they go beep, 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 beep. So there's 4 beeps, they can't figure out where the 4th beep's coming from the bird. The 4th beep, and they're like, and I'm like, so I sat there for a few minutes and kind of let it ride, and he did it consistently, like beep, 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 perfect timing.
Oh, the engineer must have been out of his mind.
It was hilarious. And they're like, yeah, it was a great little scene.
What is going on?
So I said, oh my God, it's the parrot. So I said, you kind of just have to ignore him and just let me do it and see what happens. So yeah, he doesn't come to sessions, and he's in the
That's funny.
It was fun.
Did you want to say?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
How do you get into character?
Oh, mine was really simple, like the gentleman said before. I always came in as the Phantom Ranger and everything else was done. So all the other Rangers had done their thing. I knew it. It was really my only role, and it's the only role I've ever voiced over before, other than myself and other acting on camera stuff. So it was really simple. I mean, I had the character down, and it was really fun because sometimes you'd go in there for literally 2 lines or 2 sounds or fighting, and then other times you'd be there for hours from midnight till 5 in the morning.
Sorry.
I'm gonna photobomb the parrot. So yeah, for me the motivation was simple, just like traditional acting. What were you doing in the scene? What do you want? What's your deal? I was as you guys, you've seen the Phantom Ranger, right? Everybody seen that? So he's a bit removed. He was a little robotic. He was a little stern. He had a little bit of a love affair going on, but it was not meant to really play out. So it was quite simple and easy for me because I've only done on-camera work. No, I've only done on-camera work. She's got a nice punch.
Thank you.
Do you have any shit for that?
No.
Not having to have your hair and your makeup and your blocking and your wardrobe was such a breeze. I was like, wow, this is like a piece of cake. The only thing is, those days I had a pager, and it was on vibrate, and just like your parrot did it, we couldn't figure out once. In the back, you just hear. Am I hungry? Is it my stomach? Shit, it's my pager. It was like buzzing in my jacket, like in the corner.
We used to be fired for that on
Yeah, remember they said pagers in the other room.
Yeah, it happened once though, and then we caught it. And then the other stuff was you can't move from the way we were doing it. I'm used to moving as an actor, especially if you're fighting as a Power Ranger. You're kicking and punching, and all the noises, all your movements hurt. So you're sitting there fighting, standing dead still. Your head's moving, any wind move. Yeah. So that was challenging, but other than that, it's just like regular acting for me. Long answer.
Actually, though, I want to say something on that.
Really?
It's easier. It's more fun.
Yeah.
You're complete freedom. Outside of, there's certain constraints. Like you said, staying quiet in front of the mic. You can't be moving around and stuff. But, on camera, you can't be big and broad. It's very, it's all in the eyes. And if you're big, it's lousy acting. Where behind the mic, you can really be big. It's like that.
You can be as big as you want.
Okay, there is a way, to do dubbing and be
Yes.
like
Really
movement.
comfortable.
Yes, and how is it done? Naked dubbing. It actually has been done.
And I'm sure you
It's
were
fun to
wearing
do
the
with
flag.
I ain't telling who, but it was on a Power Ranger thing on a wall thing. Yeah, I was like,
Who was it?
I'm not gonna
It
tell.
wasn't me.
That's an after midnight.
No. Anyway,
It was funny though.
But you do have to watch the picture and the expression of the actor that you are recreating, and there's nuance. It's not just filling the mouth flaps. There is something you want to do to make it come to life, and that does take looking at the expressions and the energy of the human being that you're recreating. So there's that.
So I hate to cut you guys off. I'm going to open this up to fan questions. We got about 15 minutes left. We started a little late, so let me hop on down here. Who has a question? Come on over.
But just come up?
Just come up, because you got to go into the microphone so that we can record it for posterity.
Okay. So I was just wondering, to present yourself to a recording studio or company, I understand being a portfolio, should you maybe present a lot of different voices, your own voices, maybe create your own script that kind of get together? Like, what's the best way to, market yourself if you want to get into voice acting?
Usually you have a bunch of different demos. You have a narration demo, you have a promo demo, you have an animation demo, you have a commercial demo, you have an audio book demo, a couple of others. And you have to know the differences, and if you're interested in this as a business, I suggest you go to voicebank.net, look at the agencies, look at their client list, and they will give you a sampling of each voice tape for certain people that are very successful at it. And different agencies have different people, celebrities, and regular actors that work a lot. And like I'm with AVO Talent, you can go to AVO Talent on voicebank.net and get a sense of what you need as a, your actor bag of tricks. And then you submit those when they're done, and they have to have music and sound effects to make it really good. And you also have to make sure that you're good, that you're consistent, and you have energy with your acting. And then submit it to agents around town and see if somebody bites. That's one way. And then there's also the computer.
Well, there's the shortcut, just sleep with the right people.
And then there's also the Google, they have all these, like Voice 1, 2, 3 to audition for. Home studio setups to put something out there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next question, please. Come on up.
Oh, yeah, that's me. This question's for Barbara. I know there's going to be a season 2 of Fully Cooley.
Yeah.
Do you know when it will be premiering on Konami?
I'm sorry, I don't. They didn't rehire me. I don't know. I would have loved to do Mountain, but I don't know.
I'm a fan of Fully Cooley.
Me too, man. I love doing it.
Thanks. Come on up. Go.
Hi. So, I know you have to get your own demo for voice recording to show yourself, but there's new technology, new apps where you can record your voice very clean and dry, and you can add your own sound and music. So, do you think that would be like a possibility later on?
As a cheaper way to do it rather than
cheaper way of doing demo, or do studios just they want professional demo?
Proficient at it. I'm no techie, and I'm a dinosaur. So
I'm a pretty good techie, but I always find it's better to have a director or someone who's separate from you to say, try it again, or that can find a new way to get you there. And sometimes they just see a different perspective than where you would have gone. So to me, it's just better to have another person do it. And even if you did your own, it's kind of nice to kind of give it to other people who are in the business and ask them, hey, what do you think? I'm not saying have to go with everything, but their opinions kind of matter. You look scared.
No, I'm good.
Also, you gotta know that different genres have like a pocket of, if you're gonna do different voices, that would be animation. So, because a really good friend of mine did, and she's fantastic talent, but her tape was all over the map with dialects and cartoony and like a book demo, and I said, you gotta like compartmentalize those and make one for each kind of thing, so.
But I think your question is, should you use these apps and stuff to create your own thing to get into the business? It's a really tough, we were lucky. It's a lucky business to get into, and then it becomes 50 people who they just hire again and again and again. So it's kind of disheartening to go, how do I break in? Well, I don't really know how to answer that. But there are ways. I would say, sure, go ahead and use your app, play with it. But if you're altering your sound with that, that's no good, because if you actually do get hired, you need to deliver what they heard, and without them trying to process it. That said, when you're creating these demos and doing all this kind of stuff, again, it's tough. Listen to those samples, like she said, online. Go to Kerrigan, Mahan. I got to listen to his different, from trailer to this to that, and to get a sample of what they're listening to, and understand they might only listen to 10 or 15 seconds. You know, so it's got to be your best thing, and if it's not a job you actually did, it needs to sound like it was taken off of air. They want to know that you're a working actor. So how can you get a job when you're an amateur right now? There's a couple of little things that you can do. You can, I would suggest something that you just say, oh gosh, really? Go to Fiverr.com, $5 jobs. Put yourself up as, I do voiceovers, and try to get hired to do, 3 lines for somebody, and they'll pay you $5. Now you're professional, now you've got that thing, but you have to invest in a good microphone. You need to have a closet that's quiet, where there's no room noise around you. You need to have headphones so you can hear if there's room noise when you play it back for yourself. Make sure there's no between your words, because you're trying to sell a product. So I think that's what you're at. You want to get into it. Do things like that. If you like to read books, you can get audiobook credits. There's a very easy way to do that if you can get hired. ACX.com, Amazon has created it. So people who self-publish their own ebooks, they want an audiobook version of that. All right, and so this is a great thing. Anybody who wants to do this, you can do this. You go, you see what is offered up for production after you've created your profile, and put a couple of samples of yourself recording 2 paragraphs of a book, on your profile site. You see their audition, they're ACX.com, write it down, okay? And if they write a nice note with your audition to whoever the rights holder is, and if you get hired, you do it on your own time, and just make sure it's great. And now you have, I record audiobooks. I've got 15 promos I did on Community, but you don't have to say it's on Fiverr. Now you've got those recordings. So you can create a professional database and credits when nobody will listen to you. I mean, there's ways to do that. You can search online, there's other ways too. But I think all of you who want to get into the business, this is a very, very hard business to get into.
How do you spell Fiverr or Fiverr?
Fiverr, like Fiverr. Yeah, so and every job is for $5. So it can be like you do graphic design. It's like you can get hired to make a drawing. You can get hired to do voiceover. You can get hired to make a short YouTube video for somebody who doesn't have the time to do it. There's like 1 million jobs on Fiverr, and it's one of these things that's kind of blasting off. But for you who want to do this work, you may not get paid very much, but there are ways to do it, and then you can crack in the door. You do this book, they love you, and now they become the next Robert Ludlum, and they want you with Random House. There's just ways to do it. So anyway, I would suggest doing those little things and searching for little voiceover jobs I can do on Google and try and do that. And then make sure your demo is something like, if you go to any of their websites, that it sounds at least that good. Because otherwise nobody's going to listen.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Brandon.
Unfortunately, I think we only have time for one more, so come on down. Sorry, Red Ranger, I apologize.
We got time.
We got time?
We have time. We still have 20 minutes.
20?
Yeah, easy for you to say.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Still go.
All right. Yeah, but let's go. Sure. I'm fine with that.
I can actually be a quick one. I was just wondering, outside of your Power Rangers parts, which parts do fans most remember you for? Or bring up?
What is it?
Outside your
What do they remember us for other than talent?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody else? I'll start. How about that? Okay, should I do that one again, since I've only done the sorry.
It's okay, no, you're
also done the Vandermeer. Like the on-camera stuff that I did that people remember me as, I used to play a lot of bad guys in the old days. Like I was like the villain on Jack for 6 episodes, and the Chuck Norris movies, I've always done that. But I also played I played a gay guy, and he's just not that into you, that every girl I go to hang out with is like, aren't you the gay guy again? It's called acting. And those are the more, and I had a recurring role on the TV show King of Queens. I played Sanjeev, the Indian food delivery kid. So there's a lot of fun things across the board. So yeah, when they go like, Sanjeev is the Phantom Ranger, is that guy? So those are kind of the other stuff.
You're amongst friends. You can come out here.
Yeah, okay, well, there you go. So that's it for me. Which way, left, right?
I also played a lot of heavies over the years as an actor. The one thing, though, that people remember is something I did almost 50 years ago on Star Trek. And it always amazes me that people still remember it. However, it's given me my 15 minutes of fame. I did things better before that. I did things better after that. I also did things worse than that, too, of course. But the Star Trek is the one film, as I say, that has given me my 15 minutes of fame, for which I'm very grateful. Thank you.
What was it? What would you do in Star Trek?
I can't remember. No, I played Apollo in Who Mourns for Adonais.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You remember? Well, that's more than I did.
I was just gonna quickly add, I'm not sure, because we do a lot of different things. It depends on the circle that you're in. You know, a lot of us did Digimon, we've done tons of stuff.
Let's not forget A Child Called Jesus.
That's right. Yeah, that was so funny because I knew there was like that on and a few other things.
Why don't they air it anymore?
I have no idea.
Did anybody see that? A Child Called Jesus?
I have no idea.
No, it aired. It was a two-parter. It aired every Christmas. It was live action. It wasn't cartoon.
I was Jesus.
Jesus is a child.
What I'm probably best known as, but not to any of you, I'm a baseball guy and I'm really proud of it, and it's really because of this guy's brilliant direction. I perform a one-man show as Christy Mathewson, the old Hall of Fame baseball player. That was a huge hit when Kerrigan and I did it in Times Square 20 years ago. And people still ask me to do it, and it's the first outside event ever that the Baseball Hall of Fame ever brought in. And we're really proud of it. And he saw like the second version of it I ever did and said, "You need help." And he but he also said that this guy touched him, and it's kind of been a partnership. I love this guy. He is a brilliant director and writer.
Yeah, he is a writer. Ooh.
I have to say the thing with Natty though, August 27th.
August
right?
26th.
26th, he's going to be starring in that. If anybody ever gets a chance to see him do it, go.
Oh, well, where are you going?
If you really want to, it's not highly publicized, but it's the 26th was a Friday night at Vanguard University in Costa Mesa, and I'm doing it for the baseball team because one of their coaches passed away and they wanted to do a tribute to the coach's memory. And so it's free admission. You can just show up, get there before all the seats are gone. There's 184 seats, and it's a great night of theater. And I think you'll be able to see everything that I do is because of him, and you'll be able to see how good he is.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There was a movie that was rather unceremoniously voted like the absolute worst vampire movie that was ever made. And I had one of the leading roles in it.
What was the name of the movie?
No.
It's gone through so many. I think when we were shooting, it was called Nothing But Vampires. But I honestly, I have to look it up. I don't remember what they changed the name to. I think they changed it to Project Vampire was like the final thing. And there's a guy here in Los Angeles. He has a monthly thing called Horrible Movie Night, where you watch the movie, and then the audience will sit there, and it's kind of like Mystery Science Theater, where you toss out funny lines and glib little lines through the whole film, kind of roasting the film. And this film has been there twice now, and I keep going for some because I'm a glutton for punishment. So that's probably one of sadly, that's one of the things that I'm infamous for. Back in the O.J. Simpson trial, that Jay Leno had, the Dancing Neatos. Tonight Show, I was one of those. I was one of the Dancing Neatos. And then when NBC did their movie of the week about the Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan thing, I was the guy that clubbed Kerrigan in Detroit. Yeah, so those are my.
So it's an eclectic mix.
That's my claim to fame. I have all sorts of fun little tidbits, scattered among the other credits, but that's probably my resume on a stick.
Well, back when Obama was the first time around, I did this spoof on the Obama girl. She sang, this sexy girl saying, I got a crush on Obama. It was a song viral. And I did, I Want to Get It On with McCain. It was on, it also was on The Best of Funny or Die. I wore my gray wig, and I bumped and grinded and sang the same song with different lyrics. It's on YouTube. It's called McCain Branding, and I had. And it's funny. I'm wearing a diaper and a thumb at the same time. That's one of my claims to fame.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then I thought, maybe I'd get on TV with it, but didn't happen. And I guess my other one would be Mother Taliesin on Star Wars. I won an award for.
Sorry, I just freaked out a little bit. Go back to what you were saying.
Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, people don't know that. And that was the other one. There's one on Best Actor. That's awesome. Award on voices for that, which I'm proud of. For Clone Wars. Mother Taliesin.
I have one little thing to add. It deals with the tortoise. He played the evil mutant ninja, whatever. The evil mutant ninja turtle. I don't know if anybody remembers, but he was on Power Rangers. Can't remember the year of the show because
it's space.
Yeah, in space.
In space. You remember?
Yeah.
That's my tortoise. He was so cool. So he just sits there. And what's funny is if you make a tortoise mad, or you touch them when they're sleeping, they sound like Darth Vader. It's like, it is hilarious.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
But he did great, and the star fell in love with him, and he made $50.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
So our last question then.
That's awesome.
Hi. It's not so much a question as a request, and this would really make my day. But would you please say something as your Power Ranger characters, please?
I was Frax in Time Force.
You sicken me! I was Goldar, and most people don't know I was also Magna Defender, which are two completely 180 degrees opposite. So, yes, well, you would make my day too. Yes, just follow the lights of Orion and call it a day.
Clearly, I don't have the talent these guys do because the Ranger's voice is this voice. It's my own voice, so you've been hearing it the whole time. But it was a little more robotic, it was a little more like, Rangers, follow me, you will be safe. So that's how cool
Less is more.
It doesn't matter. Sometimes kind of in a general thing. You can have one stinking voice and work your entire life.
Yeah.
Art Simpson. So it doesn't matter. I'm not that, but whatever. But I have a couple things. I did one with a burp character. Not gonna do it now, but that was crazy. Just burping your things. So I will do circuit.
Rangers, there's a mutant down by the power plant. Oh!
Okay, well, I guess I'll do her.
Oh, God.
No, are you sure?
Do we have aspirin on standby?
No, better question. Do you have extra microphones?
You won't scare him. He's good. Thanks for asking.
I'll just pass this. It's yours. I'm not going to touch it.
Astronomer, go and join the convention.
Can you do a voice?
No.
Oh, come on.
Do it.
Just do something. Come on, you can do it.
She's running back.
Please! All right. We're not gonna force her. Please.
You can hold the bird.
Jessica!
Well, thank you guys very much for joining us. We had a lot of fun talking to you.
Guys, thank you very much.
And enjoy